of about 8.5 meters per second. The onboard computers continuing to upload information, navigational information through the Corps' automated rendezvous system. This is a system that essentially bounces radio beacon signals between the Progress and the Russian segment of the station to update the onboard computers on Progress so it understands how far away from the station it is and what its proper rate of closure is. We're just under 16 minutes away from the scheduled start of the fly-around of Progress. This is a tried and true maneuver that occurs at a distance of about 400 meters between the two vehicles, allowing the Progress to align its forward docking probe with the port of call, which is the docking port at the aft end of the Zvezda service module. Zvezda was launched atop a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in July of 2000. Flight Director Anthony Varia here in the Space Station Flight Control Room advising his flight controllers that we're about 10 minutes out from him going around the room to get a go, no-go for docking. And that, again, will be relayed to his counterparts at the Russian Flight Control Room in Korolyov, who are in control of this final approach. Again, this view now, you can see the station just about right at the crosshairs of this engineering camera view, as Progress is closed almost to 4 kilometers away from the station, closing at the appropriate rate of about 8.5 meters per second.
Range is 4 kilometers. 8.6 meters per second is the range rate for the display. And on the laptop, basically the data do go inside, and we do have acquisition.
That's the voice of the interpreter here in Mission Control in Houston, actually, relaying the information to the Russian cosmonauts on board the International Space Station. They are looking at the same view that you're looking at on a monitor inside the Zvezda service module. Once again, Sergei Ryzhikov, the station commander, and Alexei Zubritsky are monitoring all of the approach activities of Progress and all of its systems through a control panel, and ready to take over control of the manual flying of Progress should that become necessary in the backup rendezvous system called the Taurus system, the telerobotically operated rendezvous system that would come into play in the unlikely event of a problem with the Corps' automated rendezvous system. However, Corps is solidly locked on both the active system on the Progress and the passive system on the Russian segment of the station, updating the values to the onboard computers of Progress. Now just about 3 kilometers away, closing at a rate of 8.5 meters per second. That closure rate will dramatically decrease as the Progress approaches the vicinity of the station for its fly around less than 12 minutes from now. The station in Progress currently flying 260 miles just to the east of Rio de Janeiro, soon to cross the equator in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator.
Kilometers and range rate is 8.6, the same.
Aboard the International Space Station, the 7 crew members, with the exception of Ryzhikov and Zabritsky, who are otherwise preoccupied with the approach of the Progress right now, they are in the home stretch of their workday aboard the complex, essentially an off-duty day for many of the crew members, as it typically is on a weekend.
Copy.
They'll be moving into a pre-sleep period a few hours from now, and again, assuming a nominal docking for Progress to the station, we'll wind up seeing the cosmonauts opening the hatch to Progress on Sunday morning to begin unloading its cargo. Ten minutes away from the start of the fly around of the Progress.
TV. Everything else is unintelligible. Copy.
The Progress main engine is currently firing for about 18.5 seconds in what is called the Impulse 4 burn. At a range of about 2 kilometers away, this once again is another fine-tuning burn to precisely align Progress for the beginning of its fly-around to the International Space Station's Zvezda service module. And a good burn is reported. This again, another in the series of some 6 impulse burns that are mid-course correction burns, if you think of it that way.
All right, OSK confirmed, and thruster is no longer firing, and we have the ISS back. Copy.
And a good view of the International Space Station from the bird's eye view of the external television camera on Progress,
Acquisition,
which is less than 2 kilometers away, closing at a rate of just over 4 meters per second.
We are ready for Toru activation.
And that backup rendezvous system is about to be activated by Ryzhikov and Zabritsky inside the service module as we get a more close-up view of the Progress approaching the vicinity of the International Space Station.
One 165520 Toru active.
And the backup telerobotically operated rendezvous system now active if required.
You have a go to proceed. All keys are depressed. Activating network power. Power on. PUBPS initial set. C4 central page. Copy. Hand controllers are ready for the test. To the right.
Again, you're hearing the interpreter
to the left
for the discussions with the cosmonauts inside the service module as they test that backup rendezvous system should it become necessary to be used. 2 days ago, this vehicle was sitting on top of a 3-stage Soyuz 2.1A booster on the launch pad of the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Now it's closing in for a docking some 30 minutes from now to deliver 2.8 tons of food, fuel, and supplies for the crew members on board the International Space Station.
4 consecutive LEDs are on. Moving to neutral, LEDs are off. Moving on to the translational control check. To the right. 4 LEDs are active. LEDs are off. To the left.
Framed against the limb of the Earth, a good view of the Progress 93 cargo ship
Are on.
as it and the International Space Station approach the west coast of Africa.
4 LEDs are on. Neutral LEDs are off.
Coming up on the Impulse 5 burn, the latest in the series of mid-course correction maneuvers that more precisely fine-tune the Progress's path for the start of its fly-around about 5.5 minutes from now.
Commanding POBPS to initial.
And Impulse 5 underway.
Keys depressed.
This is a 76-second burn, as we now have reduced the distance between Progress and the station to some 900 meters.
Ready for 4.3. Copy. Your go to move on to 4.3. Copy. Activating. I have 4 LEDs. Other gain is on. Indication and screen update are confirmed. Copy. I think we're going to leave it at that. Copy. Terminating работа mode. Copy. LEDs are off. Toro hardware tests are complete. Toro is in hot backup. Moving on to page 22.
And as you hear that communications between the Russian flight controllers and Korolyov and the crew on board the station, the
Fly around in 4 minutes.
Toru backup system is now active if required. However, the Corps' automated rendezvous system is in control, providing the proper navigational data to the onboard computers on Progress, now just 600 meters away from the station, closing at a rate of 1.5 meters per second. Less than 3 minutes away from the start of the fly-around by Progress. The Impulse 6 burn has been completed, a 13-second burn. This should be the last mid-course correction before the